All right. Today is all about, or tonight, is all about strange sampling, as the title said. Yeah. So Tuesday night's a tutorial night, or I don't even know if we should call it tutorial, but at least it's just like me teaching you some of the tricks that I use in well, not every day, but just about in the studio. There aren't any secrets anymore. I'm just gonna show you how I work with it, how I create some of the sounds that you can maybe enough. Marcus, are you is it the bags under my eyes? Because I had those since I was like 1.5 years old. There's just nothing to do about those bad boys. They're there forever. But I slept enough. Also, I think the light might not be perfect right now, but but yeah, I'm fresh. How about you? Did you sleep enough? Anyways, I think we should jump into it. Remember, like, if you have any questions along the way, write it in the chat, and I can like maybe if I didn't explain something well enough, or you want to know more about it, let me know. These aren't. I'm not gonna go like into super deep detail. I'm gonna show you how I do it, and yeah, there's always the possibility for you to like rewatch it later on. But it's just as much me trying to feed your creativity, and also just if you're not a musician yourself, then maybe just show you some how some of the sounds you hear in music today are being made. Well, at least the more experimental kind of music. So here's Ableton, and let me just bypass all of these plugins. I was thinking that everything we do today should be done from this one single sample that I found on YouTube. Is it copyrighted? I don't know. Will anyone be able to hear where it's from when I'm done with it? No. So I am not too worried about it, but I did give it another name. And yeah, no guarantees that won't be a problem when algorithms become even better at recognizing audio, but I would highly doubt it. And you'll know when we get a little bit further into the tutorial. So let's start out by okay, I'm gonna check out that link. Yeah, man. Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. So okay, yeah. What I wanted to do is just play you the sample as I recorded it straight from the browser. And here it is.
That seems.
Oh man, just a second. One of these things, yes, that one I need to remove for a second. It has like an insane latency. How about these? All good. All good. No problem. Cool. Okay.
That seems to help him.
So a little bit of dialogue and then just some greetings from Denmark to Slovenia to you, Toro. Okay, that's it. what is this sample? I mean, it is from a fairly low-budget television show, and you can hear that the budget for the music is rather poor because it is definitely one guy in a room, much like myself, doing it all on what sounds to be maybe like a D50 or something like that. If you know that synthesizer, like the I'm trying to find a good picture of it. Whatever, doesn't matter. Classic digital synthesizer, like an early digital sound. He's making it all on like one of those old workstation. Is what I hope for. That's the sound I'm hearing. So I want to take that sample and completely annihilate it. And actually, there is a bonus point. I'm going to play it just a little of it one more time. There's bonus points if you can tell which Randomness song I already used this on. I already flipped this sample on. It's on Straight Jacket, the album. So just going to play a little bit, and maybe you know. Little quiz. So, what can we do with this sample? There are like an infinite amount of things you can do with the sample. You can, I mean, classic stuff is like whatever, pitching it. So let's try to see what happens then. Just regular old pitching, pitch shifting. And what do we have now? I mean, we're almost already in some type of, what should we call it? Vapor wave kind of a blaze. That I'm gonna just loop this part of it. And then something classic we could do to it would be to add sort of like a VHS kind of a sound or whatever. You wanna like put it through a bad tape recorder, so I'm gonna do that here. And already now, I would say that we have something that sounds like it's from a like you went to the secondhand store and you found some old like family VHS tapes, and this is a scene where they're like watching a creepy movie in an 80s couch or some shit like that, if that makes any sense. These are the type of dumb images I get in my head when I hear a sound like this. But anyways, what I mean about it is that this sound to me already has a story. So let me play a sound to you that where there's, in my opinion, no story. So I'm gonna open up a software synthesizer. Let's see. I'm even gonna take a preset that I actually like. Let's see. I have all these folders. And I'm just gonna play a whatever chord. So that's a nice sounding sound. And a C minor 7. Hi, Simon. I mean, it sounds pretty good. But there's no story there. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? Whereas here, there's a story. And I think that's a really interesting way of thinking about sounds. Rather than thinking, is this sound Does it sound good? Then think about whether there's a story there or not. So yeah, that's one thing you can do with it. Just pitch it, and you can see what I did here. I pitched it 18 semitones down. That is a long way down. And importantly, I didn't warp it in live, which would mean that it would keep the same timing, but just change the pitch. We can try to do that as well real quick. Create more of a glitchy sound. That might be good. Now that's obviously a different part of it now that it's nice as well. A good short loop. I preferred the other bit though. So that's a way of creating a lo-fi sense of just creating something completely dusty and broken from something that was not broken. Same can be said about pitching it up, though I would say often there's like a limit to how high you can pitch it before it starts hurting your ears. Let's see how far we can push this thing. Oh my god, this is great, man. Now this to me is wonderful. So honestly, if I was working on a song right now and just fucking around with this sample, I would already think, okay, here's something. Let's take at least 8 of these and then maybe do that other thing where we actually turn it down. And now I don't know if 18 would work harmonically, but whatever was happening over here, and we can start creating some type of chord progression. Maybe let's go minus what was it, plus 7, so then let's try to go -2. I don't know. That is a shot in the dark, but it might work. It's a little bit off, but it's also nice. And I promise you, this sample will never be recognized. And you just gave yourself a head start into creating something new from something that was pretty bad to begin with. You know what I mean? This could also pretty much just be looped forever. So these are classic things you can do to samples. Like pitching up and down, that's not news to anyone. Still extremely powerful though, and should never be counted out. And then adding something like this tape plugin is always great for creating even more of a vibe. But I'm not that interested in the lo-fi stuff right now. I don't think that's where we should focus. I want to do some strange stuff to it, rather. And the first one I want to show you is a way that's fairly new to me, that I found out through a guy I follow on YouTube called Ned Rush. That's NEDRUSH. And he has like a ton of great tutorials. Hey guys, okay, so no one can get where the sample is from. So I'm not even sure I can play it through. Oh, I should have set that up. I will for another time. It's from Dry Me Out. Let me just try real quick to see if I can play it out the speakers. Da, da, da. What if I do it like this and virtual? I think this should work. I'm not sure.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Cool. Thanks for following. No, man, I didn't set that up right. Yeah, it is. So I added the synth that's in the right ear right now. Yeah, and so on. I used it in like micro samples all through the song, but that's the most important bit. Just setting the vibe for it. And this was classic sampling, where I pitched it, looped short parts of it, and put on some lo-fi effects to remove some of the high end and just make it even more wobbly. And that's kind of what I knew how to do at that point in time. So let us Cool Lauge. Yeah, I love playing that song. I think I also played it on the tour this fall. It's perhaps my favorite song from Straight Jacket, and I'll probably continue playing it for a while. Okay, so the next thing to do with a sample like this I want to show you is, as I said, a strange sampling technique shown by Ned Rush to me. You gotta use Ableton Sampler. I'm not sure you can do it in other programs. Maybe you can. The thing is, right now, I loaded it into Sampler. That's what we got down here. It's the exact same sample we heard before, and it's unpitched. Then I have one note in my MIDI, and that note is C3, so that means that that's the same pitch as you put it into the sampler. Then I have an arpeggiator down here playing a note every 16th note. We don't use this one yet, the note chance thing, but we will later on. And these are macros that I created. And I'll share this rack at some point. Last thing there is a velocity plugin, the one built into Ableton. So it's a MIDI velocity effect. And what it does is add complete randomness of... Oh, did I forget to change it to... my bad, guys. I'm gonna start over. Real quick, same sample into Ableton Sampler here. Same pitch. Just a C3 note, like that. It goes into the arpeggiator, and then into my macros here. This velocity rack adds complete randomness to the velocity. And instead of using that, maybe there's a little bit of volume velocity, but we use that velocity randomness for a bunch of other stuff. Namely, the length of the decay and release. And we do that here. Let me zoom in. On the time over velocity. So right now it's at -100, and that means that I think that means that the lower the velocity is, the shorter the envelope will be. Either it's that way or the other way. It doesn't matter though, it's the same effect. And that in itself creates a magnificent soundscape. But then we add even more randomness. Before we get into that, I just want to play you what happens to the sample. So again, is this normal? No, I'm just going to put it at 0. This is the sample itself. And here it is in the sampler. And I just want to point out there's no effects on yet. No effects at all. Right? Now this is completely random. There is no it evolves constantly. So this rack can be used as sort of a way of creating an ambience if you just want to do a long instrumental thing and you want it to continuously evolve. But the way that I use it, creating songs, is just to record like, I don't know, 30 seconds of this and decide upon the 5 seconds I like the best so that there's a loop to it. And let's do that real quick. "14, post effects. Okay, let's record. What I love about this is that it's as percussive as it is melodic. It is both at the same time. Okay, so let's just say that I like this bit of it. And now I'm just gonna do random things to it because let's not use 15 minutes on deciding which parts we like the best. Here's the random thing I put together, but in a way where it loops every second bar. So maybe something like that. Again, we're into completely different territory than the original sample with a very quick way of fucking with it. So now let's do different stuff within this rack. Can change the timing of the envelope to be even shorter to make it even more percussive. Let's see what happens then. Let's transpose it as well. Make it lower. And let's make some of the releases really long. Man, this is beautiful to me. I'm just gonna take that tape effects and add to this rack. And then let's try to record that. yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's, to me, an insane amount of vibe in this. So I appreciated this part of it to begin with.
It seems to.
And I'm just gonna do a real quick build up of this. Let's try to see what happens if I do it like, if it sounds like this. Reversing one of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Some of it should definitely be changed. I'm not that into that. Maybe that part here instead. Yeah. Banging. I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe this is just exactly the kind of vibe I'm into right now, but this is gonna be a saver and something I'm gonna work on another day during a live stream, because I mean, now we can start. I'm always getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I'm not even sure it's in tune. Let's find out. But then you can. I could hear something like I don't know. Do I have a good piano sound or whatever? It's been so long since I've used the piano. Plastic piano. I don't know. Let's find out. All right. I can't do that. I have a hard disk issue right now. So it's going to be a software. One of my SD hard disks got damaged the other day, and I've blocked it out so far because it annoys me so much. So I have no idea what the notes are yet. It seems like it. Probably C major, I would think. Yeah. I think to answer Kasper's question about using session view, I mean, I never got 100% into it, and I think it's just because the first DAW that I ever used was Cubase, and there was no session view, and I just got used to experimenting in arrangement view, and to me, sometimes there's like just one step too much going from session view and then into arrangement view. I mean, it's such a tiny thing, and it probably is better, but then again, there's nothing that I miss from it, and I'm just so used to having a timeline that's messy, and then at some point making something of that mess. But I would think that if Ableton had been my first DAW, and that's what I got used to, I would use it some more. I only use it when I play live, and then it's the only thing I use, like for live performances. Okay, so this was another way of doing it. I'm gonna release, let me change the camera again. I'm gonna release this Ableton rack so that, not right now, but on a Patreon I'm thinking about starting soon, where you can just load any type of sample into and create these percussive things real quick. And let me just show you, just because we're having fun right here. At least I am. Hope you are too. So whatever, what do I have here in let's see, I have this one called tracks, where some are definitely copyrighted, and these aren't as far as I remember, so let's use those. This is the sample itself. Yeah, whatever. Let's see what that sounds like. And actually, I'm gonna duplicate this one and save the one we already had going on. Loads of interesting textures here as well. On this one, because it's rather mono, you could use the random panning. And if you're wearing headphones, you can hear how it spreads out into the stereo field. I mean, you can even put on like pitch envelopes and oscillator envelopes, and that's fun, and it sounds whack like this. Oh man, I mean, I should only make music in this fucking thing, because this is what turns me on, man. God damn it. This is genuine excitement. I mean, it's not my kind of music to make, but you could go into dub territory in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Let me do it. Are you timing me? Oh my, maybe I can't make it, but let's try. Where is it? If only I could. I know it's here. It's called what? It's a very specific type of delay. Oh man, whatever. Let's use this one. It's almost as good. Add a bit of spring reverb. And then skip a whole bunch of the notes. And now all that, and let's just do it. All there is to it now is have a 4 to the floor kick drum, and then maybe like some easy percussion. But honestly, almost, at least in my head right now, it sounds like it only needs a kick drum, and then it's like a electronic dub song, you know what I mean? Let's hear it. Yeah, man, that was it. Let's release this and call it like Moons of Saturn. That's it. Change the transposition once in a while. And you know, it sounds good. Doesn't need anymore. So there you go. Next thing to do with a sample like this. Unless you have any questions to this method before we move on. Because I will go get a glass of water. I'm getting a dry mouth. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. Whoops. Echo. The next way of doing things is using good old classic simpler instead of sampler, which is like the most basic sample machine in Ableton. I loaded in the initial sample, and then I'm adding some extra envelope following things and another LFO. And I like putting an LFO on the sample loop length. So let's hear what that sounds like.
Help him. 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 Help
depends on whether you like that kind of super, well, what's called the electronic, no, artificial sound of the sample becoming shorter and shorter until it's almost like a wave table, where, you know, when it's when it sounds like that thing. And that can be really good with especially vocal samples. So
Probably go fishing again, fishing again, fishing again, fishing again. That seems to.
Let's try to load in just a vocal sample for you to hear that trick. And again, for this, I'm gonna go into my YouTube archive, and it can be really fun because you can find people who put up like cover versions on crappy microphones, and you can create something really cool from it. I'm not sure this will be cool, but we'll see.
It's annoying, it's vaguely, it's noise, 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 it's noise.
that could maybe be interesting. Whoa. That was not interesting. That was bad. This in itself, where it's like a really super loud part, never works. Not for me, at least. It's too glitchy. But the way to use these kind of sounds is to put them low in the mix. Now we're getting somewhere. Especially if we probably like over sidechain it. Oops, wrong track. Oh, sorry, I actually didn't add the MIDI for the sidechain. Let me just do that real quick. This is something I've been forgetting to set up in my default arrangement for a month now, but something like this could be interesting. And you can change the rate. Let's add a few effects. This is the kind of sound that I very often find a good place for in my mixes. So what it does is, just to explain it real quick, you have an LFO that decides the length of the loop. So you can see the loop size changing here. And that kind of creates like a bouncing ball effect, like dropping a ping pong ball or something, where it's like shorter, and then it does become longer again in this instance. But I often use this method where I then sample the outcome of it and use as like little twinkles here and there in the songs that I do. Or maybe like using this effect to create an effect rather than, say, a good old noise sweep or something boring like that. Okay, that was another method. Less fun than the first one I showed you, but still very useful sometimes. Last one is the classic granulator. I already loaded it into the granulator. I'm using the one called Quanta right here, which I find to be even better than the built-in granulator in Ableton called, I guess it's just called Granulator 2. That's amazing too, but this one has even more control. So let's try to do some stuff with it. A granulator is really just something that uses tiny bits of the sample and loops it, and then there's like a fade over between them so that it can create like almost a lush synthesizer from, say, 50 milliseconds of sound. So you can take a microscopic part of, for instance, this, I don't know how long it is it 18 seconds or something, this entire sample, a microscopic part of it, loop it over and over again and create something. And that's what we're doing here. So I will change it to which camera? I think I'll go with maybe this one. Yeah, no, sorry. This one, yeah. Okay, so you can see me play the keys here. So right now, it's playing this position in the sample. If we change the position, it changes the sound. Over here, it sounds like. And that means that something I like to do with a granulator like this, and that doesn't matter which one specifically it is to just do one long note on, let's just start with the C3, which is default. And then the way I'm actually going to play it is by automating the position. And by doing that, I'll find different chords. So what you see me do here is that on each bar, I'll find another place in the sample that I want it to stay. And these are random places for now. And just like that, we almost have something that sounds like a chord progression. And this is something I actually really often use to come up with chord progression. Then you can start playing them in different, in other synthesizers and find the notes you hear in your head. But this is where you start. I want to do a way lower tempo. Let's say 90 beats per minute. I'm going to start the kick as well. Yeah, and let's add a sidechain to that as well. And let's add another lo-fi plugin that I like. This guy called Analog Pro. And I mean, there's something about this that almost sound like lo-fi future bass or something like that. It can quickly turn into sort of like, if Flume was only allowed to sample VHS tapes or something. So let's say this is our bass, and not as in the melody or the instrument bass, but this is our bass line sound in the granulator. Then let's start changing that. Let's add less randomness around the position, a shorter length to each sample, fewer grains, and almost no random. And now we have almost a tremolo going on. I mean, it's so obvious to hear let's use it. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It can be any synthesizer will work for this. I think was it C minor or something? I should think that that is the progression. Just about. Okay, let's add a sub. Yeah. Let's record that, because that's not half bad. Like that. And then I was thinking maybe not. Let's just hold a few of the notes a little longer. So that means that the automation should happen there and there instead, right? Let's hear it. What happened here? Something strange. That's interesting to me. Let's try to filter most of the high end off. I don't know, something like that. And that is just one way of working with granulators. Another would be to almost try to make it actually rhythmic, using the length and the amount of grains to match the tempo. Yeah. This is great as well. It's maybe not in time. Let's check it out. It's not in time, but it's out of time in a pretty cool way. But you can go searching for and these are the two of them combined. Yeah, if this was a songwriting session, and I will save some of these sounds for tomorrow, then I think the next step for me would just be loading up the drum machine and start trying out stuff. In the future, I will go even more into depth when it comes to granulators or granular synthesizers. This time, I just wanted to show you these two other ways of using it, where one being automating the position to create melodies, and the other one being trying to set a shape that makes it rhythmic. Okay, good stuff, because the last thing I want to do is then try to create some completely new sounds from the sampler using effects, because right now the kind of sounds we've done are pretty much without putting on any effects. So let's do that. And yeah, first off, let's use Portal. I've used it before in the streams. This is a granular effect that also creates wonderful sounds. And what I often do with this is that I've already prepared some samples that I enjoy from it. Oh, sorry, some presets that I've changed around and that I think are great, because yeah, I mean that is that same sample. That might be able to become an effect, but it's not the kind of thing I'm looking for right now. Let's keep searching. Yeah, man, something like this can be super interesting to use as a layer in your song. Ooh, that last part. Great stuff. Sounds to me a lot like the Twin Peaks theme when you put it through like this. Ah, yeah, man. This is great as well. Yeah, because I would say that now what's happening is that we're getting into like Oniotrix Point Never territory. How about this? Yeah, right, Brandon? What I like about this effect right now is that the reverb actually sounds pretty cheap to me, but a cheap sounding reverb can be great. Also, I just want to. Right now, I'm playing. I mean, yeah, film scoring. Of course, I think everyone would love that. I could see it. I could see it happening at some point if anyone was interested in working with me. I love making sound to picture, for sure. But yeah, so what I did is just like this is going on. And it's a beautiful thing to write a bass line on top of. It's all about strangers coming together again. All about strangers coming together again. Whatever. I'm just jamming, having a good time, and that's because I have something to start from. And honestly, that's just one effect. This is going to be saved as well, that particular sound, because I would want to work on that too. Actually, let me save the entire arrangement before I possibly fuck something up. Let's call it sound design session. And let's make another sound. Let's make a few more sounds and then we'll stop. Oh, did I start the ravers? I didn't know that. Okay. Let's try something else. Whatever. Buffer override. Wait, let's try that one. Yeah, dude. I mean, if you re-record this and start sifting through it and find the right places, it can be fucking magic. One last portal thing. Jittery tape octaves. Let's do that one. Yeah, that's great as well. Okay, so that's Portal. Use it and find amazing stuff. But if you can't afford, it's pretty expensive. And you got Ableton, and you maybe even upgraded to 11, did the beta thing. You're in luck as well, because you can load in a bunch of different Ableton things into one set here, and now in the macros down here, they added a random button. So let's try to make a few sounds using that technique. Yeah, that's gnarly. The reason why it's so incredibly loud is because wow. I'm pushing the volume to extreme levels to bring out every little bit of digitalness in it. Let's try to randomize it a few times. I mean, what does it sound like? It's going through a tube in outer space and you hear it back on Earth through a bad connection. Damn. I mean, completely over the top. But again, you could resample this and then start using that as tiny samples where you build something from it, where there's actual pauses in between. And then it's really beautiful. Another thing you can do with Ableton's own devices is beat repeat and then add a random LFO, like this guy, to whatever set it to, the grid and the variation, and all of a sudden you go into sounds like this. Really interesting as well. Okay, 2 more things, and then class is dismissed. Freezing. You can do this in either delays or reverbs. Actually, Ableton's own effects can do it. I prefer these two. This is Color Copy by Yuhi, a great sounding delay. It has the freeze button right here. So what that means is that you can freeze what's in the buffer of the delay and it'll just keep going forever. And then you can start fucking with the rate within Color Copy. It's easier if you just play it. Let's freeze that. Okay, so here we have a fourth of it. Let's try to hear that sped up. I mean, it's wonderful for creating these like broken tape effects where you freeze it and then turn the rate all the way down and make sounds that almost sound like I don't know, a star being born or some shit like that, right? And then let's hear the opposite. It's probably going to be a little bit annoying for your ears. Just brace yourself. No, it's fine. Let's take another freeze. And actually, you know what? Just for you to get a sense of, I will do this on a vocal as well. So, random vocal here. Yeah. this could be great in like the build up to a crazy bit in a song. You know what? I will record this for sure. This is the good thing about always having a track ready to record. Okay, so that was one thing. And I'm sure you could find other places where it sounded cool as well. Yeah, this is great as well. Just strange sounds that to me really just creates a vibe. And last but not least, the exact same freeze principle, but in a reverb. I'm using Raum from Native Instruments for this. It's really good. It doesn't. I don't use it as much as like a regular reverb, but for this, it's pretty fucking great. So now it's frozen and we'll just continue this sound forever. We can go hunting for other ones. I don't think I have that much luck with that kind of... I think she sings too fast. Let's try something slower like the sample we began working on. So now we have a spaced out, frozen bit of sample. And I'd say that things like this can almost be used instead of a pad or something. Let's keep this going and then we can play sort of... Sure, let's do that, Brandon. Then I will put the delay freeze after the reverb. Okay, so now it's frozen, and let's pitch it down even more. You know what? This to me sounds like an old digital synth. This is a spectacular sound as well. Remember that there's a filter on it right now. I'll try to take that off. This is a little bit overwhelming, but good idea to take it, especially some low end out when you're pitching it down so far. But I mean, it does sound extremely hipster when you keep talking about texture. But texture is everything in music, and there's like heaps of texture in this bit right here. And I will record this as well. It really is, Brandon. But I think you could use this in like more traditional songwriting as well. It's just a matter of like where you place it in the mix. But I'm just fucking done with using regular pads and stuff. The sound of a pad is not exciting to me anymore, and the way of playing it, where you play chords, I don't know. It just I'm not feeling it anymore. Okay, I definitely recorded enough of that. Let's try to find a few other spots using the double technique here. Maybe this bit. And here. Not as good. Maybe. It's fairly good pitched up, I would say. But it doesn't have the same greatness. Let's try another one. That could be good, I think. Worthy of recording at least. Oh no. I shouldn't have pressed up. Well, you win some, you lose some. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that was more than enough of me just talking about sound. If you have any last questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think we're going to call it a day or a night. And then you can try, well, first of all, just find some weird samples. We didn't really talk about that, but that's something I often do on, just go on YouTube and just typing in pretty strange stuff in order to find some strange sounds. As you can tell, I have this entire folder. Oh, actually, maybe you can. Let me change the view for a second. So I have all of these up here. And I ripped all of these from like weird places and whatever. But not to use them in a regular sense, but to use it exactly like I've shown you, in strange ways. So, for instance, here we have a sound that could easily be worked with. Janus, do you mean right now or in the future? Because if you're thinking about in the future, I will continue doing it. And you know, if there's something that you would like me to do another time, let me know. I think one of the most exciting things is to do these sound design sessions, because like I don't know, and Brendan, I don't know Lost But Never Alone. I should check that song out, or maybe I do, but I can't remember the name of the track. Yeah. So for those of you who are still with me now, if there are other stuff you want to know about in the future, let me know. You can write me anytime. I'll write it down into my list of things I want to cover. And sometimes I'll pretty much just make it up in the moment. I decided on this subject a half an hour before we started, but I don't know. After doing this for a while, I just have so many pieces of information I want to share. And with that, I think we should just call it a night and say ciao. Maybe see you tomorrow. 'Cause tomorrow I'm starting at 2. That's Danish time, 2 in the afternoon, and for the first time it's with a guest. Yeah, a very special guest, one of my best friends, who is genius as well. So, ciao guys.